Guys, we got some big news. Our friends over at Manscaped are introducing the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This features a new cutting-edge design and next-generation dual skin-safe blade heads for different shaves that will take your shaving game to the next level. Join the 9 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get yourself a Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra at manscaped.com. For 20% off plus free shipping, just use the code Chael. I got to be one of the first to use the new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, and I gotta tell you, it's a game changer. This trimmer features two interchangeable skin-safe blade heads, a standard trimmer blade for a routine trim, and a new foil blade, which is gonna help you to get a smooth finish. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra comes with a travel case. It's waterproof so you can take it in the shower, and it features dual LED spotlights. What more could you need? Get 20% off plus free shipping when you go to manscaped.com. Just use the code Chael. It's high tech for low places. Go Ultra with Manscaped. All right, so we're getting close. We're getting close to the Globetrotters taking on the Lakers. The mismatched sporting event of my lifetime. Without exaggeration. And that's fine, right? I don't have a big problem with that, but I still would like to discuss it. And when you have a flop of this level, right? You have somebody that came in with a disaster of an idea, and they're all bets. Like, I couldn't give the guy a hard time who came in and pitched this and got somebody to open up the purse strings. You don't know. Right, the Globetrotters are well known, and the Lakers are well known, and the Globetrotters suck, and the Lakers are really good. But does the audience really know that? And there's still something fun there potentially, and we're going to bring them together, and you just don't know. So, in a normal situation, when you have a flop to this degree, right, and you don't know when it gets announced, you don't know. You got to make the trailers, you got to get the word out there, you got to see, right, and there's really weird indicators that you would never have access to. By example. When you're going to put the Globetrotters and the Lakers together, you put out a press release, and everybody that you send that to in the media then has your contact, and that's where they start coming in asking for requests, asking for interview requests. Now, once you get those requests, of course, the number that comes in, right, if you're inundated, good sign you're on the right track. But then it also matters what kind of interview. Is it going to be live? Is it going to be in studio? Are we doing this tape delay and they're going to put it out later? That right there, not a good sign. If it can be a phoner and the guy can just call in, now you might have to settle for that because you're calling the shots because of supply and demand. But if the request to be in studio isn't even there, right, there's ways where you find out from a PR perspective real fast, what do I have here? So when we announced the Globetrotters versus the Lakers, it was a dud. But you still got to go through it, right? You still got the purse strings. You still got this guy that's willing to lose a bunch of money. He's not actually a fight promoter. Like he's not expecting to get a return on his investment so that he can put on his next event. It's a one-off and it's a terrible idea. And he'll be lucky if they don't behead him. But here we go. When you have something like that and you put out the trailers and you put out the comments and then you go to one of your principals, social media, and you see the engagements or lack thereof. I mean, this is abysmal. To explain to you how abysmal, I actually just put up a poll on my own YouTube. Thousands of you weighed in very quickly. I mean, it was like under 10 minutes, and we had about 3,000 people. Small focus group, I agree, but in a very brief period of time. Are you going to watch Francis versus Fury? Hell no was an option. Hell no was at 90%. 90% of a hardcore base, which is you guys. No, not going to do it. So I bring that to you because in a normal situation, in a normal environment like this, where you have a promoter who's refinanced his house, he's went and got investors, and he started with friends and family, he's going to call the whole thing off. The whole thing is going to get called off. And those contracts aren't worth a damn. Nobody's flying over to Saudi Arabia to try to sue you, right? I mean, like, your contract and your agreement is only as good as the guy who you made it with. So he would normally take the loss, take the promotional off, cut the whole thing, and he wouldn't say that. He wouldn't say these two guys are duds. He would just see that they're duds. Like, you gotta understand, in this equation, the Globetrotters They don't even know what it means. They have no idea that they're a loss and they're not worth a single cent. You're not worth it. If you can't bring in a return, you're not worth anything. You're now a loss. So if I got to go spend $10 million to promote you and I bring back $8 million, you're a loss. But the Globetrotters don't understand that in this equation. Like, the Globetrotter will put out a tweet and get 44 retweets, right? Which is the world telling you, we don't care. You'd pull the rug. You'd blame the venue. You'd say it got flooded. You'd say there was an electrical issue. You'd say the fire marshal shut you down. You'd do something to cover PR, but either way, you cancel the event. That would be a normal situation. Because the funding on this was expecting to lose, happy to win, but either way, dealing with the kinds of money that it didn't matter either way. The Globetrotters are still going to take on the Lakers. But I bring this to you because when you look at the abysmal interest in this event, you will then have to look at the pay-per-view that was Will Fury taking on KSI. And there was a report that came out, they did 1.3 million buys. To explain to you, okay, the pay-per-view model is not what it used to be. I mean, it hasn't been for 4 years, but in those 4 years, people still don't know. You guys didn't know the pay-per-view business. I could take the smartest one of you, and you couldn't give me an accurate paragraph on the pay-per-view business. You never could. But if you did give me a paragraph, that would suck. You have no idea what you're talking about. 10 years ago, if you put those same words now, I could just throw it out without even grading it. It is a vastly different model. And there used to be people that could do 1 million. Now, that is a grand slam in the world of pay-per-view. If you were a promoter and executive producer that could do 1 million pay-per-view buys, you could walk onto the campus of DirecTV, they would roll out a red carpet for you. You could call the president of Time Warner. He will take your call and connect you with the CEO. Just to share for you, you would be such an anomaly. It is such a rare thing. So in today's world, if you can do 100,000, you can stay in the pay-per-view business. You probably won't stay if you can't do 200,000. But one thing about pay-per-view that nobody understands, it takes time. It doesn't matter what your product is, and it doesn't matter how good your product is. You are going to lose and lose and lose until you don't. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're doing. Doesn't matter if you're Vince McMahon or you're Dana White. That was your road here. Losing, losing, losing on that cutting edge, on the tipping point before it turns and adjusts. And I'm sharing that for and with you. The 1.3 million is, of course, absurd. It's levels of absurd. But if you want to be the highest rated, most watched fight of all time, the only way to get that is to lie in a press release with a larger lie than the previous person who had the largest lie. You'll hear about Pacquiao's numbers or Mayweather's numbers just by example, the biggest fight of all time, the biggest boxing of all time. But you won't hear about that from any executive in any publicly traded company that is met with FTC regulations. It would be illegal. So you have no way to know what the biggest draw was ever. You only have a press release that was willing to lie more than the previous liar. So on a 1.3, and I want them to have all the success. I like those guys. I like Mams. I respect what they're doing. I think they're working hard. They took something, they ran with it. I'm very much cheering for them. I don't use this as a way of trying to embarrass misfits, right? These are guys with a risk, and they went for it. But if they said 1.3 million, you would be extremely safe to know it was 130,000 or less. And that was with the promotion that Dylan brought that couldn't be touched. I mean, that was a one-off in the world of promotion, which is evident of the fact of the live house. You've got Eddie Hearn himself sitting in the front row, taking in a night of entertainment. You've got Tyson Fury, amongst others, that have come out and give up what they're doing. That's a very hard thing to do, to get A-list celebrities. It's a very hard thing to do. This place was completely packed and sold out, but they still did 130,000. And the promotion for the Globetrotters versus Fury is so bad in comparison to. It's so bad in comparison to that Fury's moved on. Fury's already signed to do another fight, and he's using the date, and he's using this opportunity as a marketing to get the word out for that one. It's that bad. And if the Globetrotters were to beat the Lakers, right? If they were to beat them, the Globetrotters will never return to what it is that they're good at doing. They'll want to stay there. The Globetrotters will stab everybody in the back that has ever helped them if it serves them, because they're a dirty, rotten group to start with. So there is no what-if scenario. There is no what happens if this happens, which is the art of promotion, which is what brings it in, the mystery, the what-if. I've got to see. No matter how sure I am, I've got to see. I've got to be confident. There is no what-if. You're dealing with extremely untrustable people. And if the promoter ever had to do a round of crowd and fundraising, he's got his own mom and dad, brother and sister, and all of his neighbors and cousins in on the deal, he would do the smart thing. He'd pull the fire alarm, pull the rug out, never turn the lights on, and send everybody home.